All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I want to take a peek here at the monthly, and you're getting some monthly levels coming into play. And when you think about these monthly levels, especially as a day trader, you really got to understand the amount of range that these larger or longer time frame traders have to play with. And so when we're looking at the previous month's open, which was 5105 quarter, which we tagged yesterday and below. But we want to pay attention to that level coming into today because should they get below that level and start to get closes below that level, which the close yesterday was, um, we're going to start to see some more pressure on the downside, right? We talked about this previously on a weekly chart, and we've seen it happen on the weekly chart. Now the weekly chart's one time framing lower, and now we're starting to see it happen on the monthly chart. So definitely understand there's some weakness here, possibly confirming, but also think about the longer time frame, right? Because you have a monthly trader here. So let's say let's say you're trading intraday, so you're doing a decision in the day. This person's doing their one decision every month. So you're going to see probably a lot of back and forth along this level until a decision is made. And that's basically where your focus is kind of identifying. But also an area where you have to understand because you're going to get that back and forth, you're going to need to manage risk a little bit different. So it might be better to size down just to get good positioning and then add on once the trade starts moving. If it is below that previous month's close or previous month's open, excuse me, the 5105 quarter. Switching over here to the weekly, you can see the weekly is still continuing the one time framing lower or below the previous month's close, which was our previous week's close, 5167.5. Currently trading 5114, so a little bit up off of this level, but still below that previous week's low, which was 5150. So 5150 and 5165 half should be levels that you have added on your chart to make sure that you know if we get near them, you're going to be bringing in some longer time frame traders. Switching over to the daily, see yesterday didn't quite get above the previous day's high and made a lower low. Now we're getting one time framing lower here on the ES. Little trend line starting to form here. So remember we had this trend line on the way up. That was a long trend line. Right? So we're starting to kind of form against that. So just, you definitely just want to monitor it. I think pay attention just because if it continues to come into play, you could see some of those longer time frame traders start to trade that pattern, right? Because there's a lot of long time frame traders that trade technical analysis. Switching to a little review from yesterday, the profile, you can see the market opened up and for the most part traded lower. Excuse me, opened, uh, gave us 2 ticks higher, and then came lower, hit that previous day's close, got a small little bounce, mechanical high. This B high was also mechanical high right off the open. So we've got mechanical high, mechanical high, mechanical high, mechanical high. So those are going to be kind of key levels as the market does what it does, right? If the market cannot get above those weak levels today, especially, then we should assume the market's very weak and definitely don't want to be buying any dips. Um, and maybe the market goes for the gap fill today. Who knows? But just something you want to think about. And then as far as today goes, we basically had a double distribution yesterday, right? With these single prints in the middle, very thin spot. So the plan is fairly easy today. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see um, some selling out of here should the market get up there. Um, then be a buyer above that no go or go no go level, which is at like 50, and basically just that's just kind of playing the distributions, right? If we fail to fill these single prints, I want to look to fade. I have a zone right here from like 36 or 35 to 32, so I'd like to see it fill in there. That'd be ideal. Um, to get short, should we get above that 51.50, I'll be considering the long getting accepted back in this upper distribution and kind of looking for that trade back higher. And then, I mean, in reality, below yesterday's low, you're kind of looking for that gap fill at that point, as it would be like the second test of the gap. We do have some news today. We have Powell on today at 1:15, so that could shake up the market a bit. We could uh we could be in for a lot of nothing until then, so just be ready for that as well. Um, Inside this lower distribution, I imagine you get some chop. Probably start picking up. See if we get any stops up here, um, and then they'll look for that single print fill. So there, I mean, there could be a long out of that zone too, I guess, if you were looking for it. But I would be a little bit more patient, wait for the higher because it could just pop up here, not fill the singles, fail in this zone. So that's just the area I'll be looking to get filled to trade back towards the settle. Yesterday was a -4 day. We did have this close on the low, so we want to be cautious of that, right? We really, that's why I put it in pink, but you really don't get any confirmation until we get below the previous day's low because there's excess on the low now, and we have all these very mechanical highs um, on the way up. So we assume that yesterday's selling was weak. We just don't want to lose sight of that. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.